Your nervous system is running your day before you even realize it. Your breath, your posture, your decisions, the way your mind locks onto certain thoughts and can't let go. When it's stuck in high alert, it treats change like a threat, even when you're trying to improve your life. You can have goals, plans, and intentions, but your body pulls you back into the same reactions, the same loops, the same routines. The shift you want doesn't start in your calendar or your mindset. It starts in your physiology. If you want a new reality, you have to teach your system to tolerate the new. Your nervous system plays a pivotal role in the way you experience life and, ultimately, the way you manifest your reality. Most people don't realize that their nervous system is like an invisible force field, constantly regulating everything they think, feel, and do. And what happens when your nervous system is stuck in patterns of stress, fear, or trauma? It blocks your ability to shift to new timelines, keeping you locked in the old version of yourself, one that feels limited, stagnant, and out of alignment with the life you desire to create. This realization can be both confronting and liberating. It's a beautiful paradox. The very system that keeps you alive and protected can also hold you back from stepping into the expansive, limitless version of yourself. But there is hope. Once you begin to understand how your nervous system operates and the impact it has on your ability to shift realities, you can start taking steps to free yourself. You can start reprogramming it to work in your favor, aligning it with the highest versions of yourself and the timelines that resonate with your deepest desires. Let's start with the basics. Your nervous system is the communication highway between your brain, body, and the environment. It's responsible for processing every stimulus, whether physical or emotional, and translating that into a response. It's through this system that you feel fear, excitement, joy, or anxiety. But it's also the system that processes stress, survival instincts, and trauma. When your nervous system is in a constant state of activation due to past experiences, present stressors, or unhealed wounds, it can create a pattern of response that limits your ability to evolve. Imagine your nervous system as a map. Every emotion, every experience you've had, creates a mark on that map. The more intense the experience, especially those linked to trauma, the deeper the mark. These marks become the default pathways, the routes your system will automatically take when faced with stress or challenge. Over time, this creates a deeply ingrained pattern of reaction that can feel impossible to escape. You may find yourself constantly triggered, stuck in old stories or patterns that no longer serve you. The old self, stressed, fearful, reactive, is constantly trying to keep you safe, but in doing so, it prevents you from growing or shifting into new timelines. But here's the key: your nervous system doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It responds to the stories you tell yourself and the beliefs you hold about yourself and the world around you. If you've been conditioned to believe that the world is dangerous, that you're unworthy of success, or that change is impossible, your nervous system will react as though these beliefs are true. It will trigger fear, anxiety, and a sense of urgency, keeping you locked in a survival mode. This survival mode is essential for keeping us safe in real, life-threatening situations, but it can become a prison when it's constantly running in the background of your life, keeping you from the shifts you seek. And so, you continue to create the same experiences, feel the same emotions, and live in the same reality, unable to break free. Your nervous system, while designed to protect you, inadvertently blocks your ability to shift into a new timeline. This happens because it's not designed to handle rapid change or stepping into the unknown. When you try to make changes, even positive ones, your nervous system may perceive it as a threat to your safety, triggering those familiar survival responses. Your body might go into fight or flight mode, even when you're simply trying to step out of your comfort zone. And when this happens, you'll often feel resistance, fear, or anxiety that keeps you from moving forward. The truth is, you are constantly shifting timelines whether you're conscious of it or not. Every decision you make, every thought you think, every feeling you experience is a choice that sends you down a particular path. But your ability to consciously shift into a new timeline, one where you are living the life you desire, depends on your nervous system's willingness to relax, trust, and allow the shift to happen. When your nervous system is activated and stuck in old patterns, it makes it nearly impossible to shift consciously. That's why many people feel stuck in their current situation, even when they're doing everything right. They may have the mindset and the intentions, but their nervous system isn't aligned with the changes they want to make. It's like trying to drive a car while the emergency brake is on. No matter how much you push the gas pedal, the car won't move forward. You need to release the emergency brake to allow the car to flow freely. Similarly, in your own life, you need to release the subconscious patterns that are holding you back. Once you do, you'll find that shifting timelines becomes not only possible but effortless. So how can you begin to release these blocks? The first step is becoming aware of how your nervous system operates. It starts with noticing the subtle signs of activation: tightness in your chest, shallow breathing, racing thoughts, or a sense of urgency or panic. These are all signs that your nervous system is in a heightened state, likely due to past experiences or present stressors. Acknowledge these signals without judgment. This is the first step in shifting your awareness from the unconscious, reactive state to a more mindful, empowered one. Next, it's important to practice grounding techniques that help your nervous system feel safe and relaxed. This could include deep breathing, meditation, or other somatic practices that bring you into the present moment and create a sense of safety in your body. When you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state, you begin to shift your energy from survival mode into creation mode. In this space, your body feels safe enough to start shifting to new timelines, where your desires, dreams, and highest self can manifest freely. These practices aren't just about relaxation, they're about reprogramming the very system that has kept you stuck. With every breath, every moment of mindfulness, you are creating new pathways in your nervous system, ones that allow for ease, flow, and alignment with your higher purpose. It's in this space of peace and safety that you can begin to visualize and feel into the reality you want to create. You are no longer reacting to life but proactively creating it. As you continue to reprogram your nervous system, you'll notice subtle shifts in your reality. Perhaps you'll find yourself more aligned with the people, opportunities, and experiences that support your growth. Perhaps you'll begin to see evidence of your manifestations more quickly. This is the power of an aligned nervous system. When you feel safe, grounded, and in control, you become a powerful creator of your reality. You step out of the old self and into the new. But remember, this is not an overnight process. Reprogramming your nervous system takes time, patience, and consistency. There may be moments when you feel resistance or fear. That's normal. Those old pathways will always try to pull you back into the past, but with practice, you'll be able to recognize them and release them. The key is not to judge yourself but to meet yourself with compassion. Trust that every step, no matter how small, is a step toward your desired reality. In the end, your nervous system is not your enemy. It is your ally, your guide, and your protector. Once you learn to work with it rather than against it, you can shift effortlessly into the timelines that align with your highest self. So, take a deep breath and remind yourself, you have the power to rewire your nervous system and manifest the reality you desire. You are no longer at the mercy of your past experiences or old fears. You are free to shift, to evolve, and to step into the life you were always meant to live. The nervous system, though often overlooked in spiritual circles, is one of the most significant factors in our ability to shift our reality. In fact, it is the silent force that dictates how we experience every moment of our lives. If you want to shift into a new timeline, if you want to manifest a reality that aligns with your highest self, understanding and healing your nervous system is the first step. Our nervous system is not just a biological entity, it is a bridge between the physical and energetic worlds, influencing not only our physical health but also our emotional and spiritual experiences. At its core, the nervous system consists of two primary branches, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems. The sympathetic system is responsible for the fight or flight response, the part of your body that gets activated when you're under stress or danger. When you're feeling anxious, fearful, or unsafe, your sympathetic system kicks in, flooding your body with adrenaline and cortisol, preparing you to either fight, flee, or freeze. The parasympathetic nervous system, on the other hand, is the counterpart. It is responsible for the rest and digest state, the calm, healing, and restorative phase where your body can relax, rejuvenate, and shift into alignment with your soul's purpose. This is the state we need to be in to manifest, create, and step into new timelines. However, many of us are living in a constant state of sympathetic activation. We have been conditioned by the stress of modern life, constant digital distractions, societal pressures, financial strain, and emotional baggage, into a perpetual state of heightened alertness. Our bodies, wired for survival, are constantly scanning for potential threats. Even if the threats are emotional or psychological rather than physical, our nervous system reacts the same way. It doesn't differentiate between an actual physical threat and a thought, memory, or situation that feels emotionally unsafe. As a result, we remain in a chronic state of stress, which blocks our ability to shift. This state of constant tension creates a profound disconnection between your conscious mind and your subconscious. When your nervous system is out of balance, it can distort your perception of reality. What once may have felt like a hopeful or positive opportunity suddenly feels overwhelming or threatening. In this heightened state of stress, it's almost impossible to see clearly or make decisions from a place of alignment. Instead, you make choices based on fear, limiting beliefs, and old survival mechanisms, which only perpetuate the cycle of stuckness you're trying to escape. The subconscious mind plays a major role in how our nervous system operates. The majority of our daily experiences and emotional reactions are driven by the subconscious. When you experience trauma, pain, or intense emotional events, these experiences are stored in the subconscious mind. Your nervous system then forms a sort of energetic imprint of those experiences, creating a deep-rooted pattern that influences how you respond to similar situations in the future. If you've been through difficult times, whether it be childhood trauma, heartbreak, or financial struggle, your nervous system may develop automatic responses to these situations. These patterns of response are the old self, the part of you that has been conditioned by past experiences, fears, and trauma. When your nervous system is operating from this space of emotional and psychological imprinting, it can be incredibly difficult to shift into a new reality. This is where the concept of timelines comes into play. Your current reality, the one you're trying to shift away from, is the result of the subconscious beliefs and patterns that are active within your nervous system. Your old self, the one defined by past trauma or limiting beliefs, is constantly in the driver's seat, pulling the strings of your actions, thoughts, and decisions. This is the version of you that holds on to fears, doubts, and old stories, preventing you from stepping into the life you truly desire. If you want to shift into a new timeline, one where you are aligned with your highest potential, you must first recognize that these old patterns must be healed. Healing the nervous system doesn't happen overnight, but it begins with an understanding of its role in maintaining the status quo. Your nervous system is a product of your past, but it doesn't have to be your future. To access new timelines, those where you feel empowered, confident, and aligned with your soul's desires, you must begin to reprogram your nervous system to support these shifts. It starts with becoming aware of the stories and beliefs that have shaped the way you experience the world. The subconscious mind is a powerful entity. It stores everything from early childhood experiences to the narratives you tell yourself as an adult. You may not even realize the extent to which your subconscious is controlling your thoughts, feelings, and actions. For instance, if you've grown up in an environment where scarcity and struggle were prevalent, your subconscious mind may have adopted the belief that life is hard and that financial abundance is out of reach. The nervous system then anchors this belief in the body. You may feel tightness in your chest or stomach whenever you think about money, or you may unconsciously sabotage your efforts to make more money because your body associates abundance with fear or insecurity. The same can be true for relationships, health, and any other area of your life where you feel stuck or unfulfilled. The old self, the one shaped by limiting beliefs and past trauma, holds on to these patterns because they feel safe, even if they're keeping you in a lower vibrational state. The nervous system, designed to protect you, will often default to what's familiar, even if it's no longer serving you. It's easier for the body to stay in its comfort zone, even if that means staying stuck in the past. And this is where the shift needs to happen. To access a new timeline, your nervous system needs to be rewired. Rewiring your nervous system begins with a deep, honest exploration of your emotional triggers and reactions. What are the situations, people, or thoughts that cause your nervous system to react? Is it a certain memory, a relationship dynamic, or a specific fear? These are the areas where healing needs to take place. By identifying your triggers, you can start to release the emotional charge attached to them. You can begin to replace fear with trust, scarcity with abundance, and pain with healing. This is not about denying your feelings or suppressing your emotions. It's about recognizing them, feeling them fully, and then consciously choosing a new response. Breathwork, meditation, and other practices that calm the nervous system are essential tools in this rewiring process. The goal is to bring the nervous system back into balance so that it no longer responds to old emotional imprints. By engaging in daily practices that activate the parasympathetic nervous system, you begin to create new, healthier patterns of response. As your nervous system shifts from survival mode to creation mode, you can begin to shift into new timelines that align with your highest potential. As you continue this journey, remember that the nervous system is a powerful tool, one that, when understood and healed, can unlock the ability to shift into new realities with ease. By reprogramming your nervous system, you're not just shifting your mindset, you're shifting your energy, your emotional state, and your very vibration. This is how timelines are created. This is how the shift happens. And this is how you align with the life you've always known you were meant to live. Fear, trauma, and old beliefs are some of the most potent forces that keep us stuck in a cycle of limitation. These experiences and patterns, often deeply embedded in our nervous system, shape the way we perceive ourselves, the world, and our potential for transformation. They are the invisible chains that keep us anchored to the past, preventing us from stepping into the new timelines that hold the possibility of freedom, joy, and abundance. Understanding how these blocks manifest in your nervous system, and how they prevent you from shifting your reality, is a crucial step in reclaiming your power and breaking free from the cycle of fear. At the core of many of these blocks is fear. Fear is a natural, protective response. It alerts us to potential danger and prepares our bodies to take action, whether by fleeing, fighting, or freezing. However, fear becomes problematic when it's no longer linked to immediate physical threats but instead rooted in past trauma, perceived dangers, or future anxieties. This kind of fear, stored in the body, becomes chronic and systemic. When fear is repeated over time, it creates a feedback loop in the nervous system, reinforcing the belief that danger is always imminent. The result is a hyper-alert state that keeps you in fight or flight mode, even when no actual threat exists. This constant activation of the sympathetic nervous system not only drains your energy but also blocks your ability to access higher timelines. Many of us are walking around with unhealed trauma, whether from childhood, past relationships, or other life events. Trauma isn't just about major, life-threatening events like accidents or abuse. It's also the accumulation of smaller, often overlooked experiences that leave an emotional scar. These can include moments of rejection, abandonment, betrayal, or any experience where we felt powerless, unseen, or unsafe. The impact of these events is not limited to our emotional state. It's also deeply embedded in our nervous system. When trauma occurs, the body stores the emotional imprint of that experience as a survival mechanism. The nervous system reacts to these imprints by producing certain physical responses, such as increased heart rate, shallow breathing, tightness in the chest, or a sense of unease. These responses become automatic, and even the thought or memory of past trauma can trigger the body to react in the same way, reinforcing the old patterns of fear and protection. In the context of reality shifting, trauma and fear can prevent us from stepping into new higher timelines because they create a sense of distrust in ourselves and the process of change. When we're carrying unhealed wounds, we tend to view the world through a lens of fear and scarcity. We believe that change is dangerous or that we are not worthy of a better life. This subconscious belief can cause us to sabotage our own progress, even when we consciously desire change. Our nervous system, conditioned by past trauma, resists the very things that would lead to our healing and transformation, because it perceives them as unsafe. Old beliefs are another powerful force that holds us back from stepping into new timelines. These beliefs, often formed in childhood or through early life experiences, dictate how we see ourselves and the world around us. Beliefs like, "I am not worthy," "I am not good enough," or "I don't deserve success," are deeply ingrained in the subconscious mind, and they shape our perceptions and decisions. The nervous system, in its attempt to protect us from perceived harm, aligns with these beliefs, reinforcing them through physical sensations and emotional responses. These beliefs don't just exist in the mind, they are reflected in our body, in the tension we hold, in the anxiety we feel, and in the way we react to certain situations. As long as these beliefs remain unchallenged, they will continue to shape our reality. Our nervous system keeps reinforcing them, often without us even realizing it. For example, if you have the belief that you're not worthy of love, your nervous system will react to any situation where love is being offered with discomfort or fear. You may unconsciously push people away or sabotage relationships because on a deep, subconscious level, you believe you are unworthy of love. This belief then manifests in your external reality, reinforcing the very patterns you are trying to escape. These limiting beliefs can also create a sense of self-doubt and insecurity, making it difficult to trust the process of manifestation or reality shifting. If you believe on some level that you are not capable of achieving your desires, your nervous system will create a protective response that holds you back. This self-doubt triggers the body's survival mechanisms, such as anxiety or tension, which in turn creates more resistance to change. Your nervous system is simply reacting to the beliefs you hold about yourself and your worthiness, and until those beliefs are reprogrammed, the old self will continue to rule your reality. Another important aspect to consider is how these fears, traumas, and beliefs manifest in our daily lives. They don't just stay in the background, they actively shape our actions, thoughts, and emotional states. When we experience an emotional trigger, such as a disagreement, a stressful situation, or a feeling of rejection, our nervous system often responds by activating old patterns. These can manifest as physical symptoms like tension in the body, a racing heart, shallow breathing, or an overwhelming sense of fear or anxiety. These physical responses are the body's way of signaling that it is in a state of danger, even when there is no real threat present. This is the power of our subconscious mind and nervous system working together to reinforce old patterns of fear. Over time, this can create a cycle of anxiety, stress, and avoidance. We avoid situations that feel uncomfortable or unfamiliar, even if they are necessary for growth. We shy away from new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences because our nervous system has learned to associate them with danger or discomfort. This is where the resistance to change becomes most apparent. Even if we consciously desire a new timeline, our subconscious mind and nervous system are working against us, preventing us from stepping into the unknown. We become locked in a cycle of fear, avoidance, and self-sabotage, unable to break free from the limitations of our past. The key to breaking this cycle lies in healing and reprogramming the nervous system. It is only by addressing the root causes of our fears, traumas, and limiting beliefs that we can truly shift into a new reality. This process involves uncovering the emotional blocks that have been stored in the body and reprogramming the nervous system to respond in a more supportive, healing way. It requires us to face our fears head-on and challenge the beliefs that no longer serve us. This can be a difficult and uncomfortable process, but it is necessary if we are to step into the timelines that hold our highest potential. Reprogramming the nervous system is not an overnight process. It requires patience, consistency, and self-compassion. But it is possible. Through practices like breathwork, meditation, somatic healing, and emotional release, we can begin to release the stored emotions and beliefs that are holding us back. We can begin to shift our nervous system from a state of survival to a state of alignment, trust, and expansion. As we heal and reprogram our nervous system, we begin to unlock the potential for new timelines, ones where we are free from fear, trauma, and limiting beliefs, and where we can step into the highest versions of ourselves. The process of healing and reprogramming the nervous system is not just about overcoming fear. It is about learning to trust ourselves in the process of change. It is about creating new, healthier responses to emotional triggers and creating a new reality where we are aligned with our desires. Once the nervous system is reprogrammed to respond to change with trust and calm, rather than fear and resistance, we can begin to shift into the life we have always dreamed of. Shifting your reality begins with the understanding that your nervous system is not a static entity, but a dynamic system that can be retrained and reprogrammed. As you work to release the old patterns of fear, trauma, and limiting beliefs, you also need to take conscious action to align your nervous system with the new timeline you desire to step into. This process involves learning to work with your nervous system, rather than against it, and gradually shifting its state from one of survival to one of creation and alignment. To reprogram your nervous system, the first step is to establish a foundation of safety. Your nervous system will not allow you to shift to a new reality if it perceives that the change is unsafe. If your system is still operating in survival mode, it will interpret any attempt to step into the unknown or create something new as a potential threat. This is why grounding techniques are so important. They allow you to calm the nervous system and bring it back into a state of balance. Techniques such as deep breathing, mindfulness, and progressive muscle relaxation activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to reduce stress and bring you back into the present moment. When you practice grounding, you're essentially telling your body that it is safe to relax, and in doing so, you allow space for the shift to occur. This process is crucial for creating a strong foundation for the new timelines you want to step into. By consistently grounding yourself, you are training your nervous system to respond to the unknown with trust and ease, rather than fear and resistance. The next step is to practice emotional regulation. The emotional triggers that arise when you're trying to make a shift, feelings of doubt, fear, or anxiety, are often signs that your nervous system is reacting to old patterns. Rather than trying to suppress or ignore these emotions, it's important to acknowledge them and create a new response. This can be done by practicing mindfulness and self-compassion. When you notice fear or anxiety rising, instead of panicking or allowing those feelings to take over, you can use techniques such as deep breathing or affirmations to bring your emotional state back into balance. The key is to allow these emotions to pass through without attaching to them. The more you practice emotional regulation, the more you create a new pattern in your nervous system, a pattern that allows you to stay grounded and centered, no matter what external circumstances arise. Visualization is another powerful tool for reprogramming your nervous system. Once you've created a state of safety and emotional regulation, you can use the power of your imagination to begin creating your desired reality. Visualization activates the same neural pathways in your brain as if the desired experience is actually happening. When you visualize yourself living the life you desire, whether it's having the perfect job, the ideal relationship, or abundant health, you are training your nervous system to feel the emotions associated with that reality. These positive emotions, such as joy, peace, and excitement, signal to your body that this new timeline is safe and achievable. Over time, this practice rewires your nervous system, aligning it with the energy of your desired future.